So let's talk about stuff to do here when there's people. Right now there's nothing to do here because I'm alone and don't feel like doing that much. One thing you can do is useful shit. And people coming here under different agreements would have available to them useful things they could do. Like gardening, landscaping, building. And some people want to do those things because it's different than what they normally do in their life. Maybe they want to learn how to build a whole building, and so we'll have ongoing workshops for that. Now, some of the programs might not be available all year because maybe we want to take a break. Like there's a time during the year where I'd like to go to the beach. Well, of course, if everything's operating correctly, I'm not actually necessary for everything, am I? I shouldn't be. In fact, I shouldn't be necessary for anything. So there's going to be a level at which I won't be important. That's really the target goal, which probably means there's also going to be more than one activity director directing different kinds of activities. You can imagine somebody in the kids area directing kids things, and I guess I would like to not have a lot of activities scheduled at night, but I suppose there should be at least in every neighborhood a place that's open 24/7, that has light, that is warm, that has food and drink, and we can do that, but I kind of do want to guide the culture into more pro-social and good values living, so I don't want to actually promote staying up late at night partying. People will do that, given the option. They've done it before. And it's kind of weird because, why not? Well, the goal is to create a culture that isn't just like a party thing on the weekend, but one that's stable all the time. A sustainable culture. And so I'd like people to be sleeping at night, or having some alone time at night, or with their good friend. And certainly scheduling things too early makes sense to get people out of bed. And so as soon as you wake up and you know you're not going to go back to sleep, you have a place to go to. You toss on a warm jacket, you go to a warm location to be, to get your day going, maybe have some coffee. Actually, I could have used some coffee today. I did buy some coffee a while back. It's a luxury item for me, but that should be getting purchased in whole big huge bags of it instead of small ones anyway. We can grind our own so it's fresh. And the list of activities is pretty long. I have a bunch of just text documents that I keep, and so I'll just say activities, and then the idea I have for an activity. For example, any holiday that exists, we should celebrate, pretty much. We should celebrate in the healthiest, best way possible. I'm not really picturing people coming here for short periods of time, and that's another reason that a party-like atmosphere all the time isn't really the goal. Also, that's not a productive way of living. I want a lot of our activities to be functionally creative and profitable. There's a result of it. Now, sometimes the result could just be for the individuals involved and getting to know each other or something, but some activities are solitary, like writing. But we could have a writing letter day once a month, and it's optional. These are not required activities, where people write physical letters to people of interest to them. Because nobody writes physical letters anymore. And that would just be a cool thing to get back into the culture. You take an hour out of your day. You've got envelopes and paper and stamps available. And, that system could always be available to use. But by just simply scheduling things, we create their occurrence, right? I guess food would be available all day and fit into whatever other activities are existing. And in the past, I've set up like 2 activity time slots in the morning, in the before noon, and then afternoon 2 as well. That's pretty good. But then there's a campfire scheduled at night, and it wouldn't be one campfire, it'd be multiple. And campfires would kind of have a different vibe to them. Some of them are, bring your musical instrument, let's play. Others are primarily talking. I guess you could have some fires with amplified music, but I really want to get away from amplified music. And in particular, I want to get away from copyrighted amplified music. We could have webcams that were set up dang near 24/7. And people could go live on a webcam from their community and, just be sitting there broadcasting all the time. Maybe we'd turn it on and off. Maybe a notification would get sent out that it got turned on. And people could even type in like a quick thing of who it is, and it would go out as a tweet or something. I don't know. I know this, bored people are less happy. Unfortunately, we've also become over customized to constant activity, always needing something to do. And so one of the things to do is to be alone and quiet and do nothing. And in fact, I'd like to offer an entire trip where it's like the hermit experience. And you could sign on for that, even if you already lived here. You could sign on for that for a day, a week, a month. And, I'd have probably different spots for outside people who had signed on to come for a month of being offline. And they'd, some people would come and they'd write or something. That's fine. But some people would just want to experience what it's actually like to just be alone with nothing you have to do for a month. I could offer that same experience for a week, I suppose. But I would actually set up a different space for residents that want to do that. And even within a community, I was thinking about that because the architecture, I imagine, puts people in pretty dense buildings. Multi-floor buildings that are sound-insulated and stuff, so they're still comfortable. But there should always be the option of little houses that you can just go off into for a little while. Now, it really seems like a waste. Some of the things I think are just pragmatics, right? It seems like a waste to set that up for a single night. Although, who knows? Maybe, I can't be so focused on making everything be some kind of perfectly designed thing that I don't have a lot of leeway for people's different needs. Like, should I just have a little romantic cabin off in the woods where a couple can go? And, you can check in anytime after noon, and you check out by 10. Something like that. That would make sense. That gives a 2-hour window for cleaning it up. But I also don't like that because then you've got sheets that you have to clean. You're either sleeping on somebody's potentially sex-stained seats, or you have the extra water use of doing laundry. So I think I just don't like it. Yeah, that just seems so inefficient to me. An overnight thing. If we set up a, kind of a hiker-biker section near the road, and people are carrying their own sleeping bags and we're fairly independent, that's another matter. Where we just provide them with a warm place to sleep that's better than their tent if they use that normally. Could be they go to hotels normally. And they've got a fire pit, and they've got a spot to cook food if they're traveling real cheap. I think we can support that. I've been that guy. When I was 16, I biked to another state far, far away and in the USA, and I was just one other guy, and it was a great experience. And I'll never forget this place. It was the Fentons in Astoria, and they just had some bunk beds and a little cabin, and a donation box, which we did put a little bit into, and lots of graffiti written on the walls. It was just wooden walls, and apparently that was okay to write your name on the wall. That's kind of cool, really. I mean, that'd be a great thing to be able to offer people. Yeah, I like that a lot. So I don't know, as I'm always thinking of stuff, and I'm trying to make rules up, for example, of how we should live, but it still can have massive diversity within that, where rules have exceptions. Like the egg carrier I have in my backpack is made of plastic. Well, and I shouldn't be buying eggs anyway. I should have chickens, but I don't currently have the manpower to maintain chickens and rabbits and all this stuff I would like to do. I can't do it. So, I don't know. Cultural design. It's kind of a confusing topic.